Welcome to my Facebook Live for the day. Today we are doing 2 times the ginger. We are going to make Paleo Gingerbread Biscotti, or Biscotti, however you say it. I say Biscotti. Tomato, tomato, right? And we're going to also do ginger baked pears. Now the Biscotti are a really good snack to have like with coffee or something like when you want to cozy up during the holiday season. And they are actually really crispy, if you can see, which is really nice. And they're hard to tell that they're not just the regular ones that you can get in the store. So they're really good. And the ginger baked pears are kind of, they're like the baked apples that I did a couple weeks ago. They're a really good thing to do if you have a lot of guests over and you just want to serve them something, maybe not on Christmas itself, but one of the other days. You can just make them really quickly, throw them in the oven, and have them going while you have dinner in the oven, or while you're eating dinner or something like that. And they're really easy to do, and I'm going to show those to you in a minute. But first I'm going to show you the biscotti. So for those of you just joining us, this is what they look like. They are just very, very good. So let me just make sure I have the right amounts here. So you're going to need 1.5 cups of almond flour, and I'm going to put them in a food processor fitted with the S-blade. I have not enough room here. All right, so you put the almond flour in, and then you're going to do 1/2 cup of arrowroot flour or starch. And you can do tapioca too if you'd rather. 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, and a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. So you put all of these dry ingredients into your food processor, and then put the lid on and just pulse just a couple times to get them mixed. And then we're going to add the wet ingredients, which you're going to have a 1/4 cup of maple syrup, 1 egg yolk, just the yolk separated from the white, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then 1 tablespoon of blackstrap molasses, which is very hard to get out of a bowl like this. It'd be helpful if I use my spatula. All right, make sure I have everything. And then I'm just gonna put the lid back on, and then I'm just gonna let it whir until it comes into like a ball. So I'll just do that, and it shouldn't take very long. Let me just do it just a little bit longer. I feel like I'm missing some wetness in here. Get all the maple syrup in there. All right. There we go. Okay. So you can see now that it's turned into a ball. And I'm going to take a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Get some of this stuff out of here. Okay, so I'm going to take the baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and I'm going to take this ball out, any other dough, make sure I scrape everything out. And it's going to be rather sticky. If you've made my regular, like the white chocolate, strawberry, pistachio biscotti that I have on my site, they're not as sticky. So when you try to like start making this, let's see if you can see this, into a kind of a round shape. You see how it sticks to my hand? A trick to prevent that is to actually wet your hands slightly. So you just put them under the water in the sink, and then you see how it's not sticking to my hand anymore? So I'm just gonna move this out until it's like a roundish kind of oval shape. Just patting with my hands, kind of smoothing it around, and it's gonna be like a long oval. And it's going to seem really small right now, but you do have baking soda in here, so it is going to rise and it's going to become a lot bigger, and I'll show you that in a second. So just something like that. So I have this round, it's kind of a terrible oval shape, but so I have this, right? Now, you're gonna put that in the oven for about 15 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then when that's done, you're gonna take it out and you're gonna let it sit on the counter for 30 minutes to an hour, preferably more of the hour time, just to let it completely cool. And it's gonna be really soft at this point in time. Not what you want. Hold on, let me just wipe my hands off. So it's gonna wind up looking like this. So you see how it's gotten bigger, and it's kind of like, it's even cracked a little bit at the top. So it's gonna look like that. And then this is the key to getting it crisp. You're gonna take it off, and with a knife, you're gonna slice it into the biscotti shape that you're familiar with. So you can do them as thick as you want, or as thin. So this recipe will make between like 6 and 8. So we'll just split them up like this. And then separate them slightly so that they're, not exactly touching each other. Put them back on your baking sheet and then put them in the oven for 15 more minutes at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And when they are done, you let them cool for a while. And then when they're done, they come out into this nice, crispy, crunchy shape. And they are delicious. So that's the biscotti. It's super easy. I mean, I was intimidated by biscotti at first, but it's really nothing to be intimidated by at all. So let me put that over here. The next thing I'm gonna do is make these ginger baked pears, which they are kind of laughably easily to do. Again, these are great for if you want a dessert for your relatives or whoever's staying with you just on a night, maybe not Christmas. You can do them for Christmas too, but usually people want to do a little bit more fancy of something. This is just something to do on another night when you're not, when you're maybe busy and just want to, chill and talk and visit and everything like that. So you're going to slice the pears open and then just remove the seeds. I just kind of do that with a spoon. And then you're going to put them, can't see it, on a baking sheet. And I'll just do 2 of these right now. So each half serves 1 person. So 1 pear will serve 2. And then you're going to take like 2 teaspoons of either melted butter, ghee, or coconut oil, depending on what your preference is and what you need. And you can either brush this on if you have a brush, like a pastry brush or something that you use to baste chicken or something like that, or you can just pour it on. And I'm just gonna pour it on right now. And then just like kind of coat it. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna put these in the oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for, let's see, I don't remember these things, 15 minutes. So then they're gonna be, then you're gonna take them out and then you're gonna drizzle them. So we're gonna pretend I put them in the oven for 15 minutes because I'm gonna show you the rest. So then you're gonna drizzle them with honey. Maybe I'll let that sit for a second because that's not working. Drizzle them with honey and then sprinkle on some cinnamon and some ginger, some ground ginger. Let's try this honey again. It's still not coming out. You guys get this in the winter when your honey just kind of hardens up? There we go. It's a little bit better. I know you can put it in the water, like in hot water for a couple minutes, and that will help soften it up, but I think we're okay. So then, yeah, you just drizzle it with the honey, sprinkle it with the ginger and cinnamon, and then put them back in the oven for about 10 more minutes, and then you're done. So that's that really easy dessert to do, and these are quite delicious. I mean, it's just a fun little way to serve pears that's just not just pears. So yeah, I mean, that's it. Both of those recipes in how long? 10 minutes? I think it's pretty easy to do. So I am not going to be doing my regular Tuesday morning Facebook Live next week because I will be on an airplane. So I guess have happy holidays to all of you, and I will see you again in 2 weeks, okay?